Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Martin Caballero. I'm here outside of Natural Products Expo West 2022 in Anaheim. We are in day 3 right now. Don't worry, we've changed camera angles, so looking a little bit different. But I'm here joined by Carol Ortenberg from NOSH. How's it going, Carol? We haven't really seen each other from the show. How's it been going so far?
Good. I've been trying food around the show. You've been drinking the beverages. Together we've been covering all the show floor.
Doing all the hard work of eating and drinking for the show here. We're just going to recap a couple things that we're kind of just observing at the show, what we've seen so far. Carol, what have you what's caught your eye as you've gone through the aisles?
I mean, there's certainly a lot of plant-based chicken, a lot of plant-based beef, plant-based fish. I think if you can make it out of plants, it's probably on the show floor, you know, to varying degrees of success in mimicking the original thing. But there's also this second group of plant-based items that are saying, it's okay to just be plants. It doesn't have to resemble something else, particularly bean-based sort of meals and side dishes. So there's really cool new rebranded beans from Philos. Somos Foods has their line of beans, and then, of course, a dozen cousins as well. So it's a different take on plant-based protein. Funny because it's probably the more traditional way you would consume that, but amidst all the plant-based, chicken nuggets and chicken wings, they're certainly standing out to me.
Sure, sometimes plant-based can just be plants.
Yeah.
Not that complicated.
How about yourself, Marty? What are you saying?
Yeah, I mean, certainly a lot of interesting new products of the show. I mean, we'll be covering that with our galleries and on Taste Radio and, various different things there. So in terms of my general impressions, I think it's been really interesting to see what's going on with energy, just as a concept in general. Certainly energy drinks have their own category, their own path, but now we're really seeing energy as sort of an extension into other existing categories and flavors. So juice with energy, sparkling water with energy, different kinds of energy drinks that are more sort of natural and positioned a little bit differently.
I think I even saw prebiotics with energy.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what we've seen in immunity, and I believe Brad talked a little bit about it yesterday, is that's a path for people to extend and just grow their brand. And energy now, it seems like there's a lot of momentum behind that, and there's a willingness for consumers to kind of step outside of that traditional energy drink space defined by Red Bull and Monster and kind of, opening into, something like a juice with energy, which is not something we've seen a ton of before. So it's been fun to watch that. This is the first show, obviously, back since 2019, and, we're thankfully moving into a new phase of dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. That's had an interesting effect on packaging, I think, as something that you saw at the show, Carol.
Yeah, and certainly, D2C brands really took off during the pandemic. At this show, it's been interesting. We've seen some very traditional D2C brands coming here, making a big splash as they try to actually push into retail, like Fly by Jing and Magic Spoon. But at the same time, for a while, brands were thinking about what's the easiest way to get my product to consumers? What's the most efficient packaging? That often was pouches. I think a lot of brands are now thinking about, oh gosh, I have to be on retail shelves. What does that mean? How do I get the right size billboard on the shelf? Is my product too tall to fit on a shelf? Am I going to lose facings because it's too wide? So now they have to kind of take a step back, think about retail again, think about how the product's going to look on the shelf. And with consumers having stayed out of stores in many cases for so long, they're using this opportunity to rebrand, reintroduce themselves to consumers, and making sure that they can quickly capture their attention on shelf.
Definitely, yeah. It's interesting to see sort of that flip back from that e-commerce focus. Still a big part of the industry, but obviously brands are going to have to play on both sides of that channel.
Definitely. Now, Marty, what's one other thing that really struck you here?
It's been interesting just observing and walking the aisles. One thing that I sort of observed is this sort of movement away from a little bit of the adventurous flavors that we maybe have seen in the past and some of the more maybe bold or dynamic ingredients that maybe have been polarizing to some consumers. I seem to see a lot of movement back towards these traditional flavors that people are accustomed to. Things like traditional soda flavors, colas, ginger ales, root beers and cream sodas, that kind of thing. Also tropical fruits, mango, pineapple. Those are really big dominant flavors there, which is great. And it sounds like something that, consumers are looking for. But personally, I always enjoyed seeing a little bit more of those adventurous flavors. I think we're seeing maybe a little bit less in terms of the botanicals and that kind of thing that we've seen previously. So I wonder if that's a sort of reorientation just for this year, or maybe that's a piece of a longer trend. be interesting to watch and see.
I think it's been such a stressful couple of years that, at least on the food side, we see comfort food being a really strong trend that's continuing to resonate, whether it's pizza or desserts. And I think some of these classic flavors might be that nostalgic, comforting, like familiarness during a time when everything felt kind of unfamiliar and unsure.
Well, Carol, we got about a day and a half left to see all the rest of the exhibits here at Natural Products Expo West 2022. Please stay tuned to our ongoing coverage on BevNET and NOSH.com. On behalf of the entire edit team, thank you guys so much for watching.